Hey my friends, it's Dave Slomka and welcome to another episode of Dave's I Believe in You, where you can find expert guidance from the sources that I've been learning from and a community of people like yourself who want to grow and change. So let me be your encourager. With God, your life can be better. You can change. Your best days are still ahead of you. I believe in you. Please share this podcast with 3 friends who are committed to growth and help them move forward in their lives and make a difference in our world. And with that, let's get started. It's Dave, and in this episode, we're going to check out the podcast, The Brendon Show by Brendon Burchard, episode 164 on health and productivity habits. And the link to explore this more for yourself will be in the show notes. You know, there was a point in my life where I got stuck. I stopped learning, I stopped pursuing my own growth and change, and I wasn't happy with my health and my productivity. I wasn't happy with who I was becoming. There were still lots of good moments in my life, but there was very little intentionality about moving ahead and growing. I got stuck in that bad mindset for years. Now that began to change when I was exposed to Pastor Craig Groeschel from Life Church. I really felt challenged to step up in life and make changes. And there's something about being challenged, being inspired to do more, to be more, that many of us really need. It can become so easy to get into a routine that doesn't involve challenge or growth, and then we lose sight of what's possible. But God has more in store for us, and we need the challenge to reach higher and see the potential for more in our lives. Things really began to change for me and take off when I began to find practical challenges and habits teaching and encouragement, especially from guys like Brendon Burchard. Now, I have found Brendon to be a source of great challenge and inspiration, and I've learned so much from him, and I hope you find him useful as well. Don't forget to use your filter, but allow the good information and the challenges to get through that filter, because our temptation is to throw everything valuable out with the first disagreement or issue or something we're not sure about. It's like a defense mechanism, but it can keep us stuck. Now, Brendon Burchard is the world's leading high-performance coach, and he's one of the most watched, quoted, and followed personal development trainers in history. He's also a #1 New York Times best-selling author, and he's in the top 100 most followed public figures on Facebook with over 10 million fans across all of his pages. Here's what really impacted me from this episode with Brendon. 1, the need to be intentional and set goals with your life. 2, the value of scoring yourself. And 3, the need for a realignment to your goals. Now, Brendon jumps into this podcast with a challenge about the very first point. Take the time now to set yourself up to win this year. This is all about being intentional and setting goals for your life. In fact, he challenges you to set at least 3-year goal for the different areas of your life. Because without goals, you can't evaluate yourself. You can't tell how you're doing, and as the saying goes, if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it. Now, Brendon is all about becoming a high performer. High performance is about strategic thinking and thinking into the future. And now to perform at a high level, we need to be future casting at least 3 years into the future. Now for this podcast, Brendon actually focuses on your health and productivity habits. So for your productivity, what would you love to have accomplished? What would you love to have built or achieved or served with your life? It encourages us to think about productivity recently and reflect on our life. Think about the last 3 weeks. How productive have you been? Are you on your A game, or has uncertainty kind of paralyzed you and kept you from making progress? Brendon affirms that it's okay to be uncertain, but don't let it stop you from moving forward. Don't become paralyzed by the desire for perfection. I love Brendon's humility in this. He doesn't set himself up as the standard of perfection. In fact, he says, you know what, I'm nothing special, and calls himself kind of bumbling but enthusiastic. The idea is to keep moving forward. In Craig Groeschel's language, it would be something is better than nothing. And this is where Brendon moves into my second takeaway, the great value of scoring yourself, something that I'm trying to do better personally. Brendon asks that for our recent productivity, score yourself on a scale of 1, which is totally distracted, to 10, being on your A game. For the past 3 weeks, how have you been doing? Why? And what could you do to improve? And then Brendon teaches that scoring yourself on a regular basis is incredibly powerful to personal development. Why? Regular assessment of yourself creates awareness. And from being self-aware, you can then begin to motivate to be your best. And then that best version of yourself can serve the world around you. And so you score yourself on your life, who you want to be. And that gives you the gift of self-awareness and helps you with the motivation and skill to become your best self. But as Brendon stresses, it's not just about feeling good about yourself, but it's about doing good in the world. I love that. We grow in order to serve. And as a Christ follower, that lines up with what Jesus told me to do. My third takeaway was when Brendon said to realign now to your 3-year plan. Think strategically. We tend to get focused on our lives right now in the moment. He says, but don't lose sight of your longer term plans. This is where Brendon adds a health focus. How do you want to look and feel with your health in 3 years? And don't let people pleasing distract you from your plans and your goals and your direction. When we're short-term focused, we fail to set healthy boundaries. And then we carry other people's needs and stop living our own lives. Because we get distracted or we get pulled away from our longer-term goals, and we need to realign. That means asking, what do I need to release that I shouldn't be carrying? You'll be lighter in your life, and then you can take steps forward. That means you realign. Know what you need to stop and get rid of, and know what you should start, like a course correction on your journey. And then Brendon reminds us that fear comes when you have to realign. When you have to face the fact that you need to make a change, and then you need to face the fact that you have to break something. Maybe break a relationship or stop an obligation. Let something go. Make a change. And if there's an action you know you need to take, then take it. And when you don't do something that you know you need to do, that actually brings a lack of integrity, or what we call incongruence. You're believing one thing and you're doing another. And then when you lack congruity, you start to doubt yourself and you look down on yourself. Realignment creates transition moments filled with risk and fear, the unknown. And in a transition, you need to give yourself permission not to know the next step. Brendon emphasizes uncertainty is okay. Give yourself permission not to have it all figured out. For your life to be a little bit of a mess, what Brendon calls being a hot mess. Don't beat yourself up with comparison. Give yourself permission not to be perfect. Otherwise, you'll be stressed and you'll hate the journey, and it will ruin your motivation. And then he says, teach yourself to have fun and grace in the moments of renewal. Some bonus thoughts from Brendon's episode. One, he points out that some of this is common sense, but it's not common practice. That's why we struggle. As Dave Ramsey says, life is all about 20% knowing and 80% doing. We struggle with the doing more than the knowing. And then some people are asking themselves the bigger questions. What do I want now? Not who do I want to be? Other people are forced into that because of an emergency or a tragedy. You have a choice in those moments to realign in life because of an emergency, you're reacting, or because of strategic thinking and dreaming and vision. And then Brendon ends with a recommendation for the end of your day. He said, look, tonight, release the tension and be okay with the effort you're making. Choose to be grateful. Thank God, and then go to bed. Stop ending your day comparing and being hard on yourself. Look for the joy in it. What is happening in your life? Be okay with doing the best you can and stop ending your day judging yourself. It's renewal time. Set yourself up for the win. Now, I chose this podcast because Brendon challenges me to have an idea of where I am and where I want to go in life. And he encourages me to score myself, to have another level of self-awareness, and then to keep moving forward, to be aware of what is keeping me frozen, stuck, and intentionally move past it to make some progress, to intentionally realign my life to my bigger goals and make changes. He reminds me to be okay with not always knowing what's next or exactly where I'm headed. For me, I need to trust God. But to keep realigning, keep course correcting along the way. Give yourself grace. You'll get there. We want to change and get better, to become the people that God created us to be, and you can do it. I believe in you. In the next episode, we're going to look at Jeff Sanders' 5 a.m. Miracle podcast and his amazing interview with John O'Leary. It is a story of inspiration that you'll want to hear. Until then, make sure to check back at daveslomka.com and share the episode with some people that you think this would help. There are people in your life who struggle like you struggle, and they want to make a change in their lives and a difference in the world. Share the podcast with them. Please leave a comment or review and share what you thought. It is a big help to me, and I would love to see what you're thinking. And let's share the encouragement around and show others that we believe in them too. Every day is a good day to grow and change. I believe in you. And with God in your life, anything is possible. So go out there and make that change.